Could online video service Hulu be worth a staggering $25 billion? That's what one analyst says, and it kicks off our top trades tonight. Credit Suisse saying in a note today that the online streaming service could have 10 million subscribers by 2020. We should also note competitor Netflix higher by more than 2% on the day, perhaps on the back of Hulu's $25 billion valuation call, Pete. But there's also some news that the Disney agreement was going to start in September in terms of the release of the new films from Pixar and Lucas, et cetera.
It's a pretty amazing number that this has moved from 15 billion to 25 billion. They're talking about some numbers like $40 a month type numbers. I mean, there's all kinds of things compacted into this note on what the catalysts really are. This does affect Disney, though. It does affect everybody who's invested, Comcast being one of them, parent to this network. So it's a really interesting concept that you'd go that far. You and I were discussing whether or not they've gone too far based upon what Netflix value is right now at about 40 billion, something like that. Yeah. So is it really a potentially 25 billion? I think my side of it would be if they're able to reach the levels they're talking about with the live and the subscriptions and that type of thing, even on the lower numbers, the 10 million rather than the 20 million, which is another number they threw out there, seems like it's actually achievable to me. I mean, that's a big if, though. That's the if. People are willing to pay for those services at $40 a month when you're looking at something like HBO Go and some of these other things that are substantially less.
If Hulu's that valuable, does that mean Netflix is less valuable, that the pie is getting split up, or do you think there's more pie?
No, I don't think it makes Netflix less valuable. I think Netflix is actually equally as valuable. I think the utility of them is going to be very different in the end. I think Hulu is going to be much more TV driven. Netflix will be much more original content driven. But you look at the valuation, you say Netflix has got roughly 80 million current subscribers, right?
They're talking about a quarter now in terms of
I thought they were looking at 50 million subscribers, Hulu, by 2020. That was the trajectory that they said in that note. I think that's insane.
Well, they had several different categories. I think it was 10 million up to 20 million. I didn't see the 50.
The blue sky was $20 million in the same time frame, which would yield a $35 billion valuation.
It's crazy, and I think they're valuing at 1.5 times, I believe, the value of their subs, 1.5 to 2 times versus what Netflix subs are being valued at. So the math to me just doesn't work. I look at it either way, the math doesn't work. So I would suggest that Netflix is not overvalued. They are overvaluing what they expect Hulu to be.
See, I would push back the answer. I think it means Netflix is undervalued. I think if I'm doing back of the envelope stuff and say, wait a second, this Hulu is worth, let's say, $25 billion.
Right, for 10 million subscribers.
Yeah, so I would say, listen, look at what Netflix has created. Look at the infrastructure they have built. Look at the distribution network. Maybe Netflix is worthy of a look in terms of an M&A deal. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I got to tell you, at a $40 billion valuation, given the conversation we just had, given this Netflix dominates in just about everything they do. I think Netflix should be worth at least $50 billion, which gets you back to about $110 stock.
Does that make it a buy right now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, listen, it's been trading horribly now for the last 6 to 9 months. But to answer your question, yes.